Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the New Fashion Conservatives podcast. I'm your host, Justin Phillips. With me, as always, the one and only Shadow Governor Voss.
Robin Voss's strongest soldier.
So, Shadow Gov, how did you celebrate the high holy day of January 6th? Did you throw on a Kunta Kinte scarf and pray to Wakanda?
I did not. I kind of forgot it was a thing, based off the fact that I think I just saw that the Democrats had held like a vigil outside the Capitol steps or something. Extremely performative. But other than that, it was a quiet day. January 6th, you know, like it didn't even happen, honestly.
I think I saw that they were singing, you know, Sky Deity, Bless America, or some sort of songs like that. But before we get into tonight's jam-packed show, first I want to thank everyone who's been listening. We've seen a big uptick in our viewers on YouTube. So if you're there, you're watching us there, make sure to like and subscribe. If you're a Spotify or Apple Podcast listener, it would mean so much to us if you could just take a second and drop us that 5-star review. And with that, we have a lot to talk about tonight, including a lot of protests, some campaign stuff, and a little bit of candy for you. But first, we got to talk about all the protests that have been going on this week due to a variety of issues. So I think as soon as we ended our recording last episode, got home, saw that the U.S. had flown some Black Hawk helicopters through Caracas and taken the President Nicolás Maduro, and that spurred a lot of local protests. And I looked at some of the news articles from that. We'll talk about them quick, but it seems as though that entire protest was because Trump did something, and the knee-jerk reaction by the deranged woke left was to think it was bad.
Which, of course, it is, because it helps America, and anything that helps America is a bad thing. Because the left is not an ideological entity. Now, there are some ideological parts to it, but generally the North Star is, I hate America and what's beneficial to America. It's more of just a self-loathing hatred. And you get the whole anti-American, anti-white. I mean, it all kind of wraps up into one nice little package that just, and Donald Trump, of course, is trying to do well by America. And so they'll oppose anything that he supports. And plus, Joe Biden put the $25 million bounty on Maduro's head. Trump made it 50. Made one Venezuelan general probably very, very rich. So this should be overall very, very positive. The fact that he did it without any loss of American life or equipment. There are so many benefits. I know, obviously, very related to Wisconsin, but Russia's scared. China's embarrassed. We're taking oil tankers left, right, and center. You can just take Russian oil tankers now. Like they're free. You can just take them. So the foreign policy, the oil, my favorite thing is the libs, Dan Schaefer mainly. Oh, just posting pictures of George Bush. Oh, oil this, oil that. Like, yeah, we're taking the oil. We went to Iraq, lost 4,000 service members, and didn't even take the oil. So we got the short end of the stick all around. We're going into Venezuela. We're getting the oil.
We did it in 25 minutes.
Yeah,
like it was insane. But want to talk about why how this affects Wisconsin. And TMJ4 had an article that I really want to bring up, because there's nothing more stereotypical of the white female liberal than telling people they know more about their politics than they do. And so white female liberals have replaced their Palestinian flags that were with Venezuelan flags to show their solidarity.
They used to be Ukraine flags.
Right. Then before that was BLM or maybe some rainbow flag, became a Ukrainian flag, became a Palestinian flag. It's now a Venezuelan flag, because they have to stand up. Who's going to stand up for the socialist narco terrorists if not the white women? So TMJ had reporter Gideon Verdon in the crowd at one of these protests, and he interviewed just a couple of people. And, you swing a microphone in that thing and you find members of the Freedom Road Socialist Organization, which is a Maoist communist political party, and as well as someone from the Party for Socialist Liberation. And their response is this anti-Trump knee-jerk reaction. And I want to read a couple of these quotes.
All right.
Because, Christy Brehan said, I hope mainly will wake up more people to the fact that there is opposition to this. There is resistance.
Opposition to what?
Opposition to taking out narco-terrorists that gave China, Russia, and our enemies in Iran a foothold in the Western Hemisphere.
In the fun, first of all, Dunroe Doctrine,
mm-hmm.
Genius,
mm-hmm.
amazing, love that. But it's so funny that Trump got the news outlets to say, well, why didn't you go in and take out the rest of the leadership? Mm-hmm. Oh, so you wanted to do more? Mm-hmm. Like, what do you want? Do you want them not to go in? It put the left in an unattainable position because they just look like absolute idiots. The only people that are protesting are literal communists that are mad that a communist got deposed. Unfortunately, those helicopter, although they're very trained helicopters, the 160th SOAR. Mm-hmm. I'm not an expert on military stuff, but they're experts. But they kind of forgot what to do with communists and helicopters. Usually, there's another mm-hmm. way of mm-hmm. taking care of communists. They skip that step. So that's why the left is mad, of course, is because one of their own got captured and in a magnificent way. And there's some great YouTube videos out there that break down what technology was implemented, at least what we know, to actually make this happen. Of course, Trump saying, yes, and we turned out the lights. We can't say why. But I mean, come on. So cool. Mm-hmm. Lights go out at Caracas, all of a sudden bombs start dropping from B-1 Lancers and everything. Oh, just amazing. And for the first time in a while, felt good to be in America. It's like,
that was a hell
80s,
yeah moment.
80s, yeah, America. Yeah. What the is a kilometer? Like,
yeah,
America.
That's Hulk Hogan playing a guitar.
Yeah. Like, I know it's kind of a cliche thing or whatever, but to see American might be utilized, like to see my tax dollars watching Afghanistan withdrawal was like mm-hmm. so incredibly frustrating, depressing. It was like a whimper, dog with its tail tucked between its legs. And this is just like, we're untouchable. Mm-hmm. Dare me. Yeah. Or dare us to,
that's just walking in the UN, flipping double middles.
Which is why also the left hates it. So overall, great victory. Yeah. And I was up. Don't ask me why I was up, but I was up when the news broke, and then me and another individual were monitoring the situation until like 3:30.
Fantastic.
So
nothing better to do than monitor the situation. But
definitely monitor.
Someone who wasn't a big fan of this is a noted Rhodes Scholar, doctorate, and Shakespearean playwright named Jada Harmon from Milwaukee, who is also with the Black Alliance for Peace. I'm going to read her quote. She said, "What we're seeing right now in Venezuela is only just a continuation of what's even been happening here in Milwaukee. All of this is connected." Now, Gideon Verdon of TMJ4 is a terrible journalist because he didn't immediately ask Jada the following question: what in the actual hell are you talking about? I mean, this is further proof, I think we've seen from these articles, that the beating heart of the modern Democrat Party is just to oppose whatever Trump is doing, no matter how insane that sounds. And I think there's a few sane minds that are in there who are saying, maybe we should just let them take the W here and not talk about it and not look like fools. But immediately, again, you have these paid protesters who are showing up to, oppose the Trump thing. So Casey Serrano was one of the speakers at the rally, said her opposition is personal. She recently returned from a peace mission in Venezuela, which means she knows more about the Venezuelan people than the Venezuelan people. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that that peace mission was funded by Maduro and or the Chinese Communist Party, because people like Casey are useful idiots to the Marxist movement. Also, noted awful and perennial congressional candidate Rebecca Cook put out a statement calling Trump taking Maduro an abduction. So who the hell is writing these talkers at the DCCC that thinks Donald Trump abducted Nicolás Maduro?
I mean, he did, I guess. But that's a good thing. And they're talking about like it's a bad thing. Mm-hmm. And it's really, this is a listless, like there is no message. Mm-hmm. There is no good message that shows that Trump. Now, if one thing goes wrong in this operation, a single, U.S. troop dies, a helicopter crashes, they would have a narrative. It wouldn't be much, but it would be something.
Yep.
The fact that the fact that their quote, the drunk Fox News anchor couldn't pull off one of the most sophisticated, most well planned out, executed missions,
that didn't have a single alert beforehand. I mean, it says something that there was no leaks. We knew about this.
The Chinese
after it happened.
Clearly didn't know it was
right
happening
because their delegates were,
they got
heard
flown over.
Right. They heard "Fortunate Son" by CCR coming through and knew something was up.
Oh gosh, so they're just mad that they didn't have a message, and they were just trying to find something, and this is the best thing they could do. It really,
but unfortunately for Nicolás Maduro, the professional protesters and the broken brain boomers of the Democrat Party have already turned their attention back to ICE, again, following ICE officers' defensive shooting that resulted in killing a woman in Minneapolis who was trying to run him over on Thursday. So, again, we'll talk about this from the Wisconsin angle because a number of news outlets went out to their local, paid protesters and saw that the Olds showed up in their Handmaid's Tale costumes, issuing the most deranged woke statements like these. That one of them came from Green Bay too. Was a person named Daniel Castillo, who said, "I just feel despondent because I know so many activists, just like the woman who was killed. I imagine it could have been any one of them." Trudy Stern said, "The woman was doing a job similar to what I'm doing out here tonight," which is she was shot for doing that. So Trudy, standing on a street corner protesting is very different than obstructing justice and trying to vehicular manslaughter a ICE officer. But for her, it's the same thing.
We could talk frank about the shooting, and I'm glad we're talking about it just because, yes, it's Minneapolis, but ICE is everywhere. They are in Milwaukee. They're not a heavy presence as Minneapolis, but there are some connections to Wisconsin that we'll also get into as well. But it is lunatic behavior to think that you protesting lawfully on a sidewalk is the same thing as a woman parking perpendicular after harassing ICE all day via eyewitness reports that said she was impeding law enforcement and that was her goal and she was doing it very well. Okay. Clearly, probably everybody listening to this has heard about the story. So we don't need, and we don't have video. Maybe someday we will, where we could, go by this frame by frame or
do a Zapruder film analysis style.
Yes. But really the most interesting part was that today, as of recording, they released the footage of the officer from his perspective. And it pretty clearly shows, she was like, I don't have to be mad. You don't have to be mad or whatever. They told her to get out of the vehicle.
She didn't comply.
Times. She didn't. When she realized that they were trying to open her door, her lesbian partner said, drive. She did. I think putting it charitably, bumped into. No, she hit.
Yeah, there's an angle from that shows the rapid rate of speed that woman took off in her vehicle. And
she also, because she was on ice, no pun intended, of course, spun the vehicle, spun the wheels of the vehicle. Okay. And it was going in the direction of the officer. The intention, whether she tried to hit him purposely or not, is not of relevance. The fact that he was right in front of the vehicle, he can't see her tires. All he sees is the Honda logo and you in the windshield, and he hears the roar of the engine and he hears tires screeching.
And this officer had recently, I think it was about 6 months ago, had been in another altercation where he was injured by a vehicle. So you got to think this guy's already experienced this
33 stitches, was dragged through front yards as he's hanging out the side of a door window. So yeah, maybe he's a little sensitive to getting run over. Okay.
Most people should be.
But most people should be. What other intention do you think when you're in front of a car, you hear a car accelerate, you hear the spinning of the wheels, like everyone wants to talk about it. This is the problem with lefties. Like they analyze everything from the video's perspective. Put it in her perspective first. She's been harassing ICE all day. That is a fact. She was impeding ICE, whether that means blocking, using her vehicle. We know that her lesbian partner said that she drug her down to do this. She's been part of anti-ICE groups that train on doing this stuff. Now she's like, oh, but she waved them through. Why didn't she just go? She was probably impeding them all day, and they said, nope, you're getting arrested, or at the very least getting taken out of the situation from being able to impede us. And she didn't want to get caught, so of course she backed up and tried to get away. Honestly, my take is, I don't think she tried to hit him. I really don't. I don't think she tried to hit him. I think she was just trying to escape, get out of there. Unfortunately,
which is still fleeing an officer.
Correct. She was impeding, obstructing, and then fleeing from.
And when you flee from the officers with an officer right in front of your vehicle,
and a vehicle could be considered a deadly weapon.
It is considered a weapon.
It is. Like, I'm sorry. Like, it's a clean shoot.
Yeah.
And it shot through the windshield. He wasn't like shooting her point blank right next to her or something.
I mean, what's really sad about this is this woman prioritized ICE, attacking lawful officers over her family.
Yeah.
Now, I know she had a child from a previous marriage, and clearly she somewhere along the line her brain broke and she became a lesbian anti-ICE activist. But she is now dead. Her child is without a parent because of her own actions. And I'm going to say this. I know the left has put out all these statements about these senseless killings and the violent ICE agents, and they'll use all the Hitler-esque language. I think they're genuinely excited. I think they like this. I think they like that they now have
a martyr.
They have a martyr, and they want, and it's been for the longest time we've seen this, that Democrats, rank and file, voters wanted their elected officials to get bloody, to fight, to stand up to Trump in any way possible.
That's all why they put women on the front line.
And that meant, they meant violence. And now they've their martyr because someone got violent. I think they are, we're going to read all these statements and the things that the left said about this, but I think they're genuinely excited now, and they want more of these people to do this.
Well, they've been wanting them to do this so the group that she's a part of, the legal advice that they give people is to block ICE in with vehicles. Why? I struggle to comprehend exactly why they think blocking ICE, these people, and they are a lot of women, have never been ever tested on this authority. They've been basically given everything as far as every advantage, not every advantage, but they basically have not ever had to face real consequences.
Right.
They control all the institutions. They've never really had to have any accountability. Therefore, they think they're superheroes or something. This isn't Marvel, okay? This is real life with people with guns and with a lot of enforcement mechanisms, and they have the law on their side.
Yep.
And these people, I truly believe they think they're just invincible and they can get away with anything. And unfortunately, rock meet hard place. Unfortunately, the state's going to win out. And this is why the Trump admin has to be apt to borrow from the Nicolás Maduro raid, has to work with absolute resolve that you cannot let these people bully you, because as soon as they show weakness, it's going to get emboldened. You need to crush this.
Yes.
And show that we will not accept these people from allowing us to box them in with cars. That's insane. Anybody that's listening to this that's a Democrat, go and box in a municipal PD officer and see what happens.
Right.
They'll probably draw their weapon on you. Okay, you idiot.
Well, I saw there was this protest, and I saw the video coming from it that some guy was literally pushing away the weapon of an ICE officer, going up and smacking it.
What are you doing?
Lucky for his case, it was just a pepper spray thing, because he got turned into a freaking Cheeto.
Oh, yeah, I did.
Which is, amazing.
He tried to grab the gun.
Right.
And so the ICE officer shot him.
That's the immediate consequence of his own actions. But before we kind of transition this to talk about how Wisconsin politicians reacted to this, we need to talk about the way that the left has for so long manipulated language. Because this woman was claiming she was, quote unquote, a legal observer, which is a bullshit title that she thinks she's been deputized to be allowed to do this. And it's given her that permission structure that she took a training. And as you know this, that the left did this. Francesca Hong and Darren Madison? Clancy did this in the state capitol where they, created this certification as a legal observer to mean that, again, they now had the authority and emboldened them to take these actions. People who did these trainings, these became legal observers. And this is why this woman is dead, because she thought that meant something. It doesn't.
Also, her lesbian partner probably got her killed as well, saying, oh, just flee, get out of here, drive.
Yeah.
While I get out of the car to take videos of it. They think that this is like virtue signaling to the deadliest degree.
Right.
Where it's like, I'm a good person, so I'm going to put out my all humans are not illegal sign in my front yard.
Right.
That's like bare minimum.
Right.
Then we step it up with maybe you yell at your school board or something about their anti-LGBTQ policies. Then you actually step it up and try to train, like, oh, my son is now a girl.
Right.
And then we bring it up another level with we're opposing ICE, we're protesting ICE, and maybe now we get to the fact we're impeding ICE. And I mean, and now they're going to be shot by ICE.
This is the logical conclusion.
Yep. Like it's an escalation. It's just a natural escalation that these people just say that and plus they also consider this a moral issue. Mm-hmm. So they think they have a moral obligation.
They think they have the moral high ground that they're on. They think they're in the right, and they think they're the heroes of this story.
Which is why the country can't live with like these two separate countries.
Right.
One will, I mean, I hate to say kind of a zero-sum game, but like one of these worldviews is going to come out the winner. I'd like it to be ours. So you have to crush this behavior.
Mm-hmm.
And I think most of the time, if the left is shown that this behavior won't be accepted, most of them will not do it. You will have your radicals, but for God's sake, after the shooting, did you hear one of the videos? The guy said, "You just did a murder."
Mm-hmm. Maybe he got his education from the Minnesota Leering Centers.
These people are snowflakes. They're not smart people. They're just rabid zealots that don't have a North Star, that don't probably have religion in their life. And so this is their religion.
Yep.
This is their ritual. They feel like there is a religiosity, devotion. Yeah,
you talk about like it's not just a political movement.
Instead of going to church, it's going to protest and doing this.
Yep. For people on the left, progressivism is their religion and protesting is their church. Mm-hmm. And it's like you said, they have no moral compass.
They have rituals.
Yeah.
They have to go to your protests. She is a martyr. She was a martyr for the religion of leftism or progressivism, the spirit of the age, whatever you want to call it. And it's the leftists will probably sneer at that or say absolutely not, but it's true. So, but of course, Wisconsin electeds had some reactions, of course.
Yes. So we got to first look at some of the folks that are running for governor, because this is the main one. But before we get to that, we do need to, as a conservative movement in Wisconsin, need to start keeping a list of the people, especially those local electeds, the ones that we're not paying attention to up until, the end of March or early April in their election years, who are coming out in support of the protesters in Minnesota. But, again, especially if they're running for local office, it's not just enough for us now to recruit conservatives. And I don't know if we're going to talk about it tonight, but the conservative movement did swing and miss on several judicial races. That aside, we'll get to that a bit later. It's great that we can recruit these people. It's great that we can train them. But at some point, we have to point out the real liberals and how destructive they would be if they were elected to local office, how they will tank your school boards and poison your communities if they are put in office. So speaking of that, we talk about some of the Democrat candidates who have put out some statements on ICE. And of course, none of them are favorable towards that. Hat tip to Right Wisconsin for kind of pulling all of this together. They said that, Francesca Hong called ICE agents enforcers of fascism. She said, "It's a dark day in America. No one should live in fear of their government murdering its own people when neighbors are trying to protect one another. We need to come together. If you have funds to distribute, please support these organizations, communities in the Minneapolis area ASAP." She said, "Dismantling ICE is the bare minimum. Merely removing enforcers of fascism is not enough. We need investments in community care, not state-sanctioned violence.
These people are going to get more people killed.
Right. This type of rhetoric is going to embolden more crazy progressives, these,
we haven't
deranged woke white women on multiple SSRI prescriptions.
We haven't even passed like major immigration reforms. It's all been like funding for immigration judges, funding for ICE officers, funding for the wall, funding for extra border patrol agents. We're not like major immigration. They're enforcing current law.
Yep.
Imagine when someone learns like, oh, we want to, well, the birthright citizenship SCOTUS decision is going to probably happen soon. I mean, that might shake things up.
Imagine when they find out that this is because Joe Biden let in 25 million illegal immigrants and turned a blind eye to the criminals and, terrible elements of that. Like those people were the people from the Venezuelan jails and, Mexican jails. And those weren't, the huddled masses yearning to breathe free. Those were the people who were looking to steal, cheat, and defraud Americans and the federal government,
or rob people in Delafield and Mequon and Fox,
exactly,
the Fox Valley. Those people as well. And of course, what Joe Biden did was unconscionable and will probably forever be a stain in our history. But 25 million, that's probably a pretty accurate state, and we don't even know how many total there are in the United States, but. Needless to say, this language will get someone. It's going to get more people killed.
Well, let's read more of the statements from these gubernatorial candidates. So Mandela Barnes, former lieutenant governor and proud ICE defender, said Trump said he would deport criminals. Instead, Americans are being killed. Nothing about sending masked agents into our streets without accountability is making us safer. My heart is with Minnesota today and the victim's family. This should never have happened. Now, in that last part, he's right. It should never have happened because she should never have been in that situation.
No.
She did this to herself. Okay. So Sarah Rodriguez, her statement was vague, said, my heart is with the Minnesota today and with everyone trying to make sense of something that should never have happened. What we're seeing with our own eyes is deeply wrong. We cannot normalize this. We cannot explain it away. It has to stop. Now, you could also read that's a pretty weak comment if you were a Republican saying we need to have, deranged woke white women not running over ICE agents.
Well, and I respect Kelda and Francesca for like those statements because they're just calling it how they see it. People like Sarah, they're tiptoeing around it and stuff. For example, I know I bring him up and he lives rent-free in my head, admittedly, on Twitter, Dan Schaefer. He'll tweet something, and I've mentioned this before, but he'll tweet something and it'll be kind of vague, like, oh, these actions are disturbing. But he won't comment on any of the facts because he can get away with saying it's disturbing and everyone kind of knows what that is without saying like this or this, which is actually smart politically to do that. But we all know you think the same thing probably as Francesca Hong, at least on this issue. And so why not just come out and say it first of all? But instead of just being cryptic about the situation. So, but of course, the one statement that I'm glad you included, the governor.
No, we got to get to the other Democrats first.
I apologize. I jumped the gun.
So let's talk about Missy Hughes' statement. So she said she's who? So Missy Hughes allegedly running for governor, and I only know that because she texted me 3 times last week asking for money. And again, I need to point out that she either has the worst donor lists or she's trying to troll me.
Could be both.
Would love to get her to admit it one way or the other. I know I live rent-free in her head. So Missy Hughes said, I am heartbroken by the killing of Renee Nicole Good, a mother of a 6-year-old child by an ICE agent earlier today in Minneapolis. Every person deserves safety and dignity. There must be accountability to the fullest extent of the law for this shooting. We can do 2 things at once. Uphold the law and protect human life. Renee Nicole Good's child should have been able to count on an America that lived up to these principles. I mean, you know who else?
Thank you.
I'm sorry, but you know who else was a father that should live up to American, should have kids that live up to American principles? Charlie Kirk. You know who else? Brian Thompson, the United Healthcare CEO that was assassinated for because of some crazed liberal thought he was the reason why his healthcare costs were sky high.
So he had to be killed, and of course that was rejoiced.
So Joel Brennan, again, just reminding people that he's out there, said, "What happened in Minneapolis today could happen on my street or any street in America. The immediate and predictable response from the Trump administration is to demonize a 37-year-old woman who was murdered on the street in broad daylight before all the facts can emerge." Side note, he's calling this a murder before all the facts did emerge.
Well,
we've seen otherwise.
All the Democrats, like if we were to speed run all the congressional Democrats, murder, 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 murder this, murder that. Yep. Okay. Everyone's got the talking points. It's murder.
Yep. So we'll just skip the rest of Joel's because, we don't need to talk about him too much because he's going to finish 6th place in the primary.
Maybe 5th place.
Yeah, I guess we're going to have to lay that out.
Actually, I'm a little bullish. I'm going to say 4th or 5th.
Okay. So David Crowley, another Democrat who's allegedly running for governor, he says his heart is with Renee Good and all who loved her. As a dad, I worry about what it means for a moment like this to become normal. What kind of future our children will inherit if accountability disappears. America's built on due process. We have systems, checks, and balances for a reason. When the executive power is exercised without restraint, and when accountability is treated as hostility, we are no longer talking about public safety. We are talking about fear. Federal agents carry immense power and duty to serve the people. Power without accountability is dangerous. Calling for transparency, oversight, and justice is not anti-safety. It's pro-democracy. As a governor, blah, blah, blah. I think he felt like that was, channeling his MLK.
But you're not going to win the Democrat primary off of just, they're all repeating essentially the same thing. But our current governor... Can we now do this?
Do you want to talk about Kelda's letter to the congressional district?
No. Okay. Well, Kelda sent a letter to the Congress.
Yes. So let's just talk about the 3 really quickly. I'm going to jump into Governors. Yep. So, and 3, 2, 1. And let's not forget Kelda Roys, who is also allegedly running for governor. She might finish 6th. Sent a letter. She didn't just put out a statement. She sent a letter,
strongly worded letter,
to our congressional delegation, saying that an innocent person. Now, this is probably the most inflammatory of all of the statements. I mean, the rest of the Dems kind of mostly fluttered around justice and transparency and due process, where Kelda Roy said an innocent person's life was taken by a violent, untrained federal agent, even though she posed no threat to him and was exercising her constitutional rights as an American.
Apparently, he's been with ICE for like 10 years.
Yeah. So. I mean, he's well trained. And, constitutional rights to run over people is not one that I don't think that's covered under the First Amendment.
Well, I'm pretty sure the Bill of Rights did not include that. So unless I'm mistaken, which I'm willing to be proven wrong.
The ICE agent who shot her as she tried to leave is part of an agency that is acting with impunity, emboldened daily by the very elected leaders who took an oath to uphold our Constitution, including the rights of due process.
I wish they could act with impunity.
Right. I know, right?
My goodness.
So it goes on, but I would love it if someone like DVO or Glenn Grothman came out there and responded to Kelda to say, get bent. Yeah,
she's so desperate. She'd take the moderate angle to start, but she's desperate. I'm very curious to see what the money looks like. Obviously, we're going to talk about some of that in a little bit, but those are just early releases to get in front of the narratives. But I'm very curious because usually if you're a little bit behind, you think you have to be a little bit more bold on the rhetoric.
But this isn't just bold. I mean, it's an outright lie.
Well,
she is definitely like looking at that first initial reaction or that first initial video
before we get the body cam,
right? Before we got everything, and she's taking that and running with it, and is just willfully manipulating the facts to fit her narrative, which is just repugnant, quite frankly. But I wouldn't expect anything better from Kelda. She's probably one of the worst. But perhaps the worst thing that came out of this was from Sleepy Tony's comms team. Shadow Gov.
This was my favorite.
Yes.
Tony. Now, the funny thing is Tony was quiet as the grave. No 2020 riot statement about how Jacob Blake got shot in the back and how that's a horrible thing, and that he did nothing wrong and this is on the police, yada, yada, yada. None of that. Tony learned his lesson the first time. He said, no, we're going to let the paint dry on this one for a little bit before we comment. Unfortunately for Tony, he didn't wait like 2 extra hours. Day of recording, obviously, Tony put out a statement, quote tweeted, good old Tampon Tim's post about unity in the country today, and said, we're going to have a moment of silence at 10 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. For who? Oh, for the person that was killed.
Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously, I don't want anyone to die, but like, then just after Tony said we're going to have a moment of silence, the video came out of the body cam footage from the ICE officer, or I'm assuming it was body cam footage. It's tough to say how many ICE officers have body cams and some just use your phone for recording stuff. I've seen both, but it's first person point of view. And well, what does it show? It shows what we see in the other videos. She tried to back up when they were trying to arrest her and say, get out, get out. Her lesbian partner says, drive, drive, drive. She puts it in the drive and hits the guy, and he fires rounds, after he's been hit. So that's pretty clear cut from the first person point of view. Okay. All the other views are kind of sometimes grainy. You have to slow it down. This one, I mean, do you think he faked being hit by a car? This is ridiculous. Okay. He was clearly in front of it. And when you put it in the context of the rest of the video, it's pretty much the nail in the coffin of the narrative that the left had built up for 24 hours saying it was a murder. And funny enough, Jacob Frey hasn't been using the word murder anymore, and it said, "Oh, we need to let the investigation play out." Or whatever.
He had to really walk back some of that inflammatory rhetoric. Not really,
not really, but like when you see enough of these statements, you can kind of tell, like, someone had some extra information and are now starting to maybe change how they frame stuff. So, honestly, I expect this story to probably go away by next week.
Unless, I mean, hopefully the weather is cold enough in Minnesota that people aren't spending all their time outside and therefore can't start to riot. But yeah, tell us a little bit about what Tony Evers responded to.
Well, he just said, we need a moment of silence.
Yeah.
And we need a moment of silence for now a person that broke the law multiple times and then, of course, led to her own unfortunate demise. But, maybe we shouldn't be having moments of silence for someone. Like, you can be, okay, this would be me being the most charitable. Like, yeah, we don't want her to die, but you have to also realize that she put herself in the situation. Her actions led to a reaction from an ICE officer. Okay. The easiest thing is she said, "Yes, officer, I will comply." Put it in park, exit the vehicle. You get handcuffed. You're put in the slammer for a day. You're out the next day.
If anything, our thoughts and prayers are with the family of someone who immediately found out. Yeah.
Yep. So much it.
But Tony Evers, of course, took a moment of silence, which I think if you're at his age and you're taking a moment of silence, people are thinking either you're napping or something else is going south. But to do that for a domestic terrorist, and the fact is, I actually don't believe that Tony did this.
No,
I think he's so brain dead and asleep at this point. It's worse than what Joe Biden was at the end of his presidency. And I think that some hyper woke 22-year-old blue-haired theater kid who's pretending to be a comms person tweeted this and for the likes. This definitely wasn't like Tony. Tony didn't go to his comms team and say, "We need to do this." No. He's like, "I need some ice cream and some pickleball. You guys handle everything."
Probably, if we're being completely honest, what probably happened is Tony said, "We should probably comment. We haven't said anything." Or his comms person said, "We need to comment and say something." But then Tony said, "Well, we won't want to do a Jacob Blake 2.0. Okay, so let's do like a moment of silence, but not mention who it is and anything. Like, we'll just keep it kind of vague."
And Tampon Tim is my friend.
Oh gosh. And the impeccable timing, literally like an hour or two later, that video drops and it's like, ooh, yeah, she did hit him. Yeah, definitely hit him. She could have avoided this by stopping and she didn't. So tragedy in Minneapolis, obviously, but could have been avoided. And DHS is surging another 1,000 people, federal officers. Yeah, I am. And I love all the videos outside of the facility. They're not playing around. Like, you spit on someone, you're getting taken down.
I want to see more people turned into Cheetos with that pepper spray shot or whatever.
people just need to learn that they can't do this. Like,
yeah, how much does a rubber bullet cost, or how much does those shotguns that fire beanbags? Let's see some of that.
I mean, it is quite literally finding out. Like, what do you think when you're blocking an ICE vehicle when it's coming out of the facility is going to happen? You're going to get pushed to the ground. But of course, they love this. This is a classic leftist tag. Oh, I've been arrested like Bernie Sanders in the 60s or whatever. It's like, give me a break. But
so Shadow Gov, can we talk a little bit about some fundraising?
Yeah, we can talk. That was a lot of kind of national stuff. So
yeah, it's probably the most amount of national stuff, but it does have a Wisconsin tie. Like, let's
of course, we're always going to have some Wisconsin ties, and it is our podcast. We can do what we want.
So fundraising reports for federal for statewide and congressional candidates are due in a couple of days. So some of those numbers have started to leak out. J.R. Ross, who's an OG with politics, has been posting candidate fundraising numbers. We got a few of them, and I'm just going to read through some, and Shadow Gov, throw in any hot takes you have. But Rebecca Cook announced that she has raised $1.1 million in Q4 for her third congressional district bid, her third congressional district bid, and ended the year with $2.5 million in the bank. Solid, I think, for a congressional case.
Yeah, I mean, I'll probably go over these pretty rapid fire, but I mean, not totally surprising. This is her third time running now. Yeah.
She's got all the big.
She's kind of the primary is not going to be a big primary. She's getting all the big donor money from the big donors, and so not totally surprising. Big contested race, national attention. Yeah.
So the next one kind of raised an eyebrow for me. So Jesse Evans says she's raised $300,000 in the final quarter for her 7th congressional district bid, and has support of mega donors like Diane Hendricks, Liz Uline, as well as 2024 GOP Senate candidate Eric Hovde. So
yeah, that's
some big names in that.
Probably the biggest surprisement. What is wrong with me? Excuse me. Surprise. That I might make that a thing. A surprisement. It's just like a moment of surprise. Whatever. I guess that's just surprise. Anyway, maybe I'll cut that. Anyway, $300,000. I'm most curious to see what the cash on hand is. Yeah. If she's like burning through it, trying to catch up to other people that have spent a lot more money. Does she have the staying power to get through till August? Like, we kind of have to forget, we can't forget that the primary is in August. So we have a ways away. But yeah, some interesting names and a decent haul. Yeah. I don't know what I was expecting, but
yeah, okay. I think solid. David Crowley says he'll report $800,500 in contributions, and will have $601,000 in the bank.
Also, I think that's pretty solid. For him
in such a fractured Democrat party.
Yeah,
like, I think we're going to see a lot more of that.
If you're getting over, like, I think the threshold for me of viability is like $500,000. For this credit of a primary. If you're getting over $500,000, you might have some staying power.
Yeah, and I think the one will be surprised by. So I think you're going to see a lot of candidates put in either their own money. I think Kelda, if I'm gonna bet right now, I think Kelda has the lowest number, and I think Missy Hughes and Joel Brennan are a little bit above that. Halsey. Oh, sorry, you're right. That doesn't count. I'm sorry. He's going to have $70,000 in the bank or something.
70? I think that's being generous.
Okay, we'll find out.
Have you seen his mailers?
Oh yes, yeah, they're
atrocious. They're made on like card stock. But
no, you're right. I'm probably I'm overestimating.
He might have $10,000.
Okay, so I think Kelda's going to be the next lowest. I think Joel Brennan, Missy Hughes are going to be down there. The one I think that's going to surprise a lot of people. It shouldn't. I think Francesca Hong's going to come in with a lot of money. I think it's going to be a lot of low donors, and I think a strong majority of her money is going to be from out of state.
I think it'll be probably pretty split, honestly.
Okay.
I guess I know we're speculating, but I think she's going to have a lower number.
You think so?
Well, what do you? Before we go on, what do you think is a low number? 400,000
for her? Yeah, 3 to 4. I think a high number for her is 750.
Yes.
I'd put her. 7. I mean, she might if she gets
7.
If she gets 7 figures. If she gets over $1 million, I would not be totally surprised. But again, I think that's coming like the Mamdani voters.
If you have $1 million, though, you're probably leaking that to the press right now.
That's true. Fair enough. Yeah, you're right. That's a flex.
Unless you think that the others are probably going to do what they just did and release their numbers early, and then you come in hot with like the whole $1 million.
I'm thinking that's the case. And I think Mandela is going to be. I think Jesse Barnes is going to be right below that.
I think a safe number would be between $450 and $550 for Francesca, but it'll be a lot. Like the average dollar donation is going to be like $60 or $70.
Yeah, it's going to be low, but I'm willing to bet 60%, 70% out of state.
Oh yeah, there are a lot of
Redditors. Yeah, low dollar Redditors are really going to pay a lot. I think
it's going to be fascinating. You could probably spend an entire episode just analyzing donations.
And by the end of this week when they drop, that's probably going to be that we might have some time to do that. I think Sarah Russell Rodriguez's numbers are going to be surprisingly low. I think she'll be under half, maybe under 4. I think she's going to be wild. I think people are going to speculate on how disappointing her numbers are.
Of course, the question that we all have to speculate is the cash on hand too, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
if you got a lot of cash on hand,
your numbers, I hear you.
But of course, the donation, how much you're raising, of course, just shows the staying power, though.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you have cash on hand doesn't mean you have grassroots support. Just means you have enough money to maybe make it to the primary date.
So on the plus side, talk about some Republicans or a Republican.
Oh, real quick, you saw. I thought you would maybe mention it, but Joel Brennan, $500K.
He did. Oh, I did not see that.
Yes, $500K for him.
Okay.
So between Crowley and Joel Brennan, the Milwaukee crowd is giving a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Obviously, Crowley, that makes sense why he has, county exec. He's
all right. So let me readjust my speculation. I think Missy comes in under 5, and she might be in one of the lowest.
Probably like 2.
I would say 4. Well, I think Western Wisconsin pulls for. I'm gonna say 4. Yeah. So we're gonna find out next week.
I don't know. Maybe the Democrats just have a crap more ton money than I'm thinking, and I don't know.
We're gonna find out in our next episode because I think we'll have all the numbers by then. On the Republican side, Tom Tiffany raised over $2 million
year to date. I believe.
Yeah.
So it wasn't $2 million this cycle or this period, but $2 million to date, which still a good number. Still a good number, of course. And then Wisconsin CRs out of the blue.
Yeah.
Like Jordan from the free throw line, $1 million.
I was going to ask, you put that in the show notes. I was going to ask if that was a typo.
Nope.
Or that was something. Did I delete something? And that is in there. That's incredible.
Now, I kind of joked. I did text somebody. And I said, so who donated $967,000?
Yeah.
Like you have 40 donors and one of them is just for $968 million or $968,000 or something. Kind of laughed at it. I did not get any confirmation on what that is. So we'll have to find
that's a good joke, but I mean,
you know what I think it is though? If I'm being honest. What if it's Nick Jacobs, the guy who won $1 million from
Elon? He's just giving it all to.
I mean, I have to imagine he has to keep some of it, but like, even if he gives like $500,000,
maybe he put it all on black and doubled it.
Crazy.
Maybe doubled it again, doubled it a third time.
I don't know. Your luck's not that good.
But no, I think that's an insane number. Even if it is just a couple of people, being able to show the value that you will bring to the Republican movement in Wisconsin. And getting that money, that's hats off to whomever at WICRs did that.
Political winners, Tom Tiffany raising a good amount of money. We'll have to see what the actual period is. Like, is it $500,000, 600,000? Because that means you're still kind of keeping pace with Democrats. But if the CRs raised more money than the state party,
I would not be surprised.
I think it's going to be the case.
And then we're going to have some of the questions, some of the reasons why we started this podcast are going to be asked by a lot more people.
I'm for the sake of the party, I'm hoping that they raise more than the Wisconsin College Republicans. And if it's explainable, like if someone just had a max donation of a crazy amount of money or something, then that's fair. Like it is fun to say that Wisconsin College Republicans have $1 million. But if it is because that makes some sense, at least then. But still cool.
Yeah. So a little bit of other campaign news. This was broken by Dan O'Donnell just today, which, of recording. So before 2:00 on January 9th said, so there's a candidate launched her campaign for the Court of Appeals District 2, the left-wing candidate, submitted an invalid declaration of candidacy because she had her husband notarize it, which is a violation of state law. Irony of ironies, you're running to be an appellate court judge and you're going to violate the law on your declaration of candidacy.
Way to go.
So under state law, she must be removed from the spring ballot. Now, this is bigger than some of the other challenges we've seen in the past. I know when Tim Michaels was running, he had his mailing address as Shaniqua, and it's really Stone Bank or something. Like, it's these tiny little things. And the reality is,
I don't know if I've heard of the village of Shaniqua in Wisconsin.
She still lives there.
Yeah.
No, but you put these things on there. I say I'm from, a city, but in reality, I could be from the village nearby. But we have the same mailing ad, or the same zip code. So
zip codes overlap.
Exactly. But in this case, this
not
is
even that.
This is a true violation in that in Wisconsin, notary publics may not notarize any document with respect to a record to which the officer or officer spouse or domestic partner is a party or in which either of them has direct beneficial interest.
Now, this might come off as crass, but is she retarded?
You got to think. So her husband is a notary public. If you get certified as a notary, you have to know some certain rules.
Yeah, but did you even take a look at the actual? So of course, the notary thing is one thing.
Yeah.
Do you see though? Are you looking at the picture?
I am looking at this picture.
Go to Dan O'Donnell. Those that are listening, go to the tweet from. Oh, what is this?
It's about 141.
140 on 19.
Mm-hmm.
Go down to her name, Christine Hansen. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then go down where it says state of Wisconsin and then county of, and then what is the word?
Waukesha?
No. Christine Hansen.
Mm-hmm. County of Wisconsin. Oh my gosh. Didn't even get the county right.
Didn't even get the county right.
And still then notarized.
And still been notarized.
Mm-hmm.
This is not a complicated document. Your taxes are 10 times more complicated than this, okay? You got to fill out your name, what you're running for, where you're from, your address, the county. No county, just county of Wisconsin. So she's got 2 errors. Now the Democrats can be like, well, we know it's from Waukesha, and it's just a notary. It's not a big deal, guys.
But this is not just. It's not just it was notarized and it had incorrect information. That's one thing, and I think I would be willing to say that the Wisconsin Elections Commission would realize the error.
Yeah. Of
county of Wisconsin would realize the intent because it says Waukesha on a line above it. That they'd say that was a small mistake.
You just look like an idiot, though.
Yeah, it's embarrassing for you, but it's not.
Way to start your campaign. Yeah. You can't even get the announcement correct.
To get your husband to notarize this piece of paper, which he's not allowed to do under Wisconsin state statutes, that's where we have a problem.
You can literally go to your clerk.
Yes.
They'll do it.
In fact, I don't know anyone who wouldn't go to a clerk. I mean, to do it. I mean, that's
most people don't know who do notaries unless you're a clerk,
right?
So that's kind of the obvious choice.
And I mean, especially these smaller races, you're going to your city or village clerk to turn in all your paperwork. Mm-hmm. So you're going to have your clerk notarize it because they're witnessing you do it. I think there's no better person to go to if you're a local elected your local candidate to the clerk in which the municipality you're running.
Now, and that was the deadline, right? The deadline's passed.
The deadline has passed, so it can't be redone. Deadline was Tuesday.
Yeah.
I believe it's Tuesday. It was either Monday or Tuesday. I think it was.
I can't recall, but the point being is, no one else can submit paperwork.
No, there's no. You can't scramble to get a candidate at the last second here.
This and of course the Wisconsin Elections Commission. This is pretty blatant. This is like a yes or a no thing, and if they just let this go, abolish WEC. I don't care. Voter fraud, whatever you want to talk about, other violations. No, this is the hill I'm going to die on.
Yeah. Now, let's be clear. Christine Hansen, there was a very strong chance she was going to get
absolutely mollywopped.
Yeah, she was going to get crushed by Anthony Lococo, who's a fantastic candidate, has been raising a ton of money. We've talked about
Chad.
We've talked about having him on the program, and
we really need to get him on.
We do, and you know what? I told him I was trying to be very respectful when I said we'll have you on the program, but at the time and up until this very last moment, he didn't have an opponent, a declared opponent. So I was like,
well, let's wait till you get an opponent.
Yeah.
Well, you might not have.
He might not have an opponent. We'll still have him on because he's a great guy and we like him. But in this case, they couldn't even get that right.
The fact that we might get a free shot, Anthony Lococo, Continue to fundraise. You have an opponent. Tell people that you still have an opponent. Raise an absolute war chest and just sit on it and get interest. I don't know. Just this is amazing. For a party that doesn't get a whole lot of wins, at least in Wisconsin, as far as like state party stuff and like local elections.
Yeah, we've been taking our lumps lately.
We've been taking our lumps. If this goes the way I hope it goes, Weck, we're watching you. Don't mess this up.
Yep.
Okay. It's gonna the embarrassment.
Well, you know, here we
just quit your job. Like never run for office ever.
Yeah, that is
again.
move.
Yeah, probably move to a different state or maybe do a different county, like the county of Wisconsin or something.
So speaking of some of these things that we kind of got wrong or, you know, have expectations of and we're incorrect on, we got to do a couple of follow-ups now. First one is that, again, shortly after ending the recording of our last episode, Hannah Dugan did the thing we didn't think she was going to do, and that is resign. So on Saturday, she resigned from office. So we were incorrect in our predictions that we would have this long, drawn-out impeachment process. And now Tony Evers has actually replaced her on the bench. Really? Yeah. So that's just us admitting that we were pleasantly surprised that we were wrong.
Well, I'm not going to let it go that quickly.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if I ever claimed that that she was going to be impeached.
That might have been me. I'll take the claim on that one.
Yeah, well, come on. We're working in gray areas. We're working with, when you work with Democrats, they always work in the gray areas. I don't think I ever claimed to know that they were going to do this. I think they just said, if it happened, this is how I think it would go. But I am a little surprised, though, and I won't dwell on this because I know we've already rehashed it. I'm a little surprised, though, because technically she is a convicted felon, but it still hasn't been recorded into the record as far as I know. So technically she still has a shot.
Oh, okay.
But I guess good for her for taking the high road.
Sure.
Also another person that learned that your actions have consequences.
So another one that I'm willing to admit I was wrong on, or I did not have the expectations that this would end up the way it was.
I predicted this one correctly.
You did. So I was wrong. And I'm going to read the statement. So the disabled Vietnam veteran, Fred Smith, who accidentally, I guess we'll say, tried to pay for scratchers with a $100 Trump bill. And
I hate when that happens.
Yeah. And, I'm going to read the statement to kind of give more people the context. So I did not think this would go the way it is. And the statement from Dane County District Attorney Ozan's office was incredible. So today, the charges, voluntarily dismissed the forgery case against Vietnam-era war hero Fred Smith after the DA took time out of his holiday weekend to personally review the entire matter amid a growing firestorm of media criticism and public outcry. DA Ozan concluded, quote unquote, parentheses, properly, that there was no evidence that Fred Smith did anything wrong when he mistakenly handed two 50s and a novelty Trump $100 bill to a quick trip cashier to buy scratch-offs for Christmas stocking stuffers. Fred is again free to buy himself one of those hot, fresh rotisserie chickens, parentheses, only $6.99 today. Fred, who suffers from severe PTSD and some serious physical infirmities from an attack in the Vietnam jungles as a grunt in the 1960s, can start to recover from the shame, embarrassment, and stress of sitting in Dane County Jail for 3 nights over Christmas 2025 away from his loved ones.
3 nights.
He meant no harm, but endured much for no good reason. This is an amazing statement. I have to give all the credit in the world to the Dane County DA for putting this on. So I'm going to continue reading. Fred is grateful to the DA for his personal efforts over the long holiday weekend. He is also thankful that Quick Trip Brass quickly reviewed the matter and immediately called for the DA for dismissal, citing Fred's confusion in the situation, as well as the store employees' anxious reaction to finding a fake $100 bill in the drawer. As this was after having found Fred's debit card left behind. So the poor guy left his debit card and then went to jail. So KT is committed to making this a teaching moment for all the retailers. Fred is a decorated war veteran who took 5 bullets for the rest of us while trapped under a barrage of enemy fire as a teen. Each time Fred tried to escape, he got hit again. One bullet robbing him instantly of the use of one arm, then another disabling one leg. He was pinned down under heavy fire. A goner, he figured. But for a quick-thinking platoon member who tossed 2 smoke grenades his way, that gave other GIs a fleeting yet successful chance to whisk Fred to an evac site. His crew took 12 casualties, lost 3 men that day. Fred has flashbacks still, but this utterly unnecessary Christmas jailing brought him back full force. So
I'm going to have
this is 3 paragraphs. There's 2 more. I don't know if I can actually read this because it's that good. Shout out, hat tip to the Dane County DA for doing that. We'll link to it in the show notes. I got this from Vicky McKenna. Check it out on her page.
I'm going to take a slightly different take. Good for him for doing what he should have done.
Sure.
I still hope a Republican governor replaces him as DA. I hope that he is unemployed come 2026.
Sure.
But good for him. I mean, kind of hard not to drop charges against a guy who just a little forgetful and a veteran, of course, who went through a lot. And, you know, sometimes a little bit of grace goes a long way.
Yep.
But I still think the DA should be brought up on treason charges sometimes I'm not an expert on what's the DA's fault and what's the sheriff's fault, because the sheriff's and not complying with ICE detainers and letting these illegal immigrants. You see, there I go again.
I pulled the string. He just got wound up.
We won't go into that. We've heard enough.
So there's another story I want to follow up on because I don't think we did this justice. I don't think I talked about this enough. So I want to follow up on the NGO CEO and the Madison School Board member who was arrested. So that's Urban Triage CEO Brandy Grayson and Madison School Board Vice President Mia Pearson, who were arrested for disorderly conduct and resisting during an incident in which Brandy Grayson, while intoxicated, crashed her vehicle. For those familiar with the Madison area, this happened near the Great Dane. Pearson is a member of the city's Police Civilian Oversight Board. So now the Oversight Board is going to investigate one of its investigators, and I wonder how that will go. I think it's a little bit ironic that the left constantly calls for body cameras on police officers when refusing to provide them for Madison cops. And unfortunately, we won't be blessed with the body cam footage here. The expectation for body cams on the left would show that the world is in unending and uniform abuse by police. Instead, they revealed that there's an unending and uniform derangement, entitlement, arrogance, and stupidity of its civilians. So I did a little bit more research on Brandy Grayson, and I found out she's really disliked by the Madison community and is apparently a nightmare to work with. Most recent tax filings and reports say that she makes close to $300,000 a year working in the welfare industrial complex. Now, I said in the prior episode, I think it was 124 was on her last. Her salary is over doubled in the years since those IRS forms were published. Fraud? So you'd think there'd be enough for her to call an Uber instead of driving her vehicle. But allegedly, she also announced that the organization ran out of money to help homeless families last September, which, as we've talked about, collected $16 million in 2022, which suggests that she could be embezzling. Like, I don't know how you spend $16 million, and then it's 2022. They probably got more in 23 and 24 when the Biden administration was trying to shovel money out the door to NGOs.
As quickly as possible.
So you have to wonder when the Dane County or the city of Madison is going to audit the millions that have already run through this organization without any transparency.
Never.
No, the fact is the Dane County Board added a $1 million contract to their most recent budget for urban triage.
Auditing left-wing NGOs is racist, and I won't accept it.
So even though there's a lot of issues with the organization, they got that money. According to a flagrant act of journalism by Jason Cuevas from Channel 3000, neither Dane County exec Melissa Agard nor the Dane County Director of Human Services John Schulter will even acknowledge there's issues with urban triage when they're pressed about it. And that, of course, like you said, is because of racism. Because it's Madison. It's a town full of white liberals who are afraid to condemn any black leadership. Hell, you can't even criticize a black player on the UW football team without the accusation of racism. In any other city, she'd have been made to answer for what she is, which is allegedly a con artist.
Plus, it's kind of like de facto like reparations. Like they're like, oh, let's give all these minority NGOs or minority businesses all these grants because we feel bad.
They think it's reparations by proxy.
Yeah, that's what it is, and because reparations just doesn't pull well at all.
Yeah.
Giving money to people based off of race. So
especially in a state that fought for the Union and shed blood at Gettysburg. And
so instead they just do it via DEI and they do it in all these masked and kind of cloak and dagger ways.
Yep.
Now, granted, we're making some assumptions, but come on, the mind of a leftist, the mind of a liberal from Madison that oh, we need to be more charitable to minorities, so let's give them stuff that, there's no meritocracy. I mean, and there's probably some, but it's mass.
You look at the board of urban triage, and it is all of those white women that, again, think this is their reparations.
Well, this is the only leftist term that I'll probably agree with, and it's like the white savior complex.
Mm-hmm. That's like, their entire board.
Yeah, it's like they feel like they need to do extra stuff, like, or people could just on their own merits do well and earn grants and whatnot.
Right.
But it's meritocracy. It's not dead, but on life support maybe.
In a little bit of other news, I think Reince Priebus confirmed what we already suspected. And during an interview with WISN TV, Reince Priebus specifically said he does not expect Tim Michels, who ran for governor in 2022, to mount another campaign for the state's highest office. He said, "I highly doubt Tim Michels will get in. I mean, I think it's getting a little late." The comments from Priebus are noteworthy given his ties to Trump and his close association with Michels, who some have speculated will jump into the governor's race.
Didn't Michels get in last time in March?
He got in April last time.
Like, what do you mean? It's early.
But I mean, Reince and Michels are allegedly pretty good friends.
I know.
So I think if he's saying that he's probably not going to get in, like,
sorry, I'm just a little bit jaded about some of that stuff.
Me too.
Still, but I'm not going to,
we've talked about that a lot.
I'm not going to open up old wounds. However, I do think it's a little, what's the word? Funny is probably just, I'm going to say funny to put it lightly, that it's early. He got in April.
Yeah.
Okay. And almost, prevented Becky from having the nomination, which eventually lost.
He lost a very winnable race to a very defeatable governor.
Yeah. And of course, 2022 was kind of just a weird midterm altogether, but that's neither here nor there. Bottom line, hopefully we're just going to continue with the two candidates we have. Notably, we haven't heard from Josh Homan's fundraising numbers yet. He didn't release anything, but hopefully we'll find something out here soon. But yeah, let's just keep it to the two candidates. We don't need to add anymore.
So another issue I want to talk about really quickly. This came out of the Green Bay area. The police up there just posted a photo of their new officers that were being sworn in. And one of them had a patriotic tattoo that, of course, is misinterpreted by folks on the left to being part of an extremist organization. So that forced, again, the left with nothing better to do in between protest schedules had to go out there and post on the Green Bay Facebook page and force the police chief Chris Davis to make a statement. He said that at one extreme, it can mean membership in an extremist organization, but there are also a lot of people who have that tattoo and have that symbol who aren't members of extremist organizations, and they see that symbol of patriotism. So he has a 3% tattoo, which should be to represent the 3% of Americans who serve in the armed forces. It's an ambiguous symbol, the police chief Chris Davis said. He said he hasn't spoken with the officer since the photo was posted on social media, but said the department thoroughly examined the recruit's background, which I think should be enough.
Which they do
to assuage
with everybody.
Yeah, that should be enough to assuage the left.
Usually if there's something super apparent, like, you'll find it. It's pretty obvious. Also, the left, this is coming from the people that thought the OK sign was racist for white power. This is coming from the same people that thought Pete Hegseth's Jerusalem cross was the somehow right. Well, it is, I guess, right wing, but somehow a hate symbol, if you will. These people don't take their
same people that think the word picnic is racist because someone made up a fake term, or the fact that they also think that the song Jingle Bells is racist.
Or what is it?
Because they made up a fake history of that song.
Outside, it's sexual harassment. These people can't be, considered serious for anything. So,
but of course, Green Bay felt they had to make a post about it, which I know is kind of feeding the left's fire. But
yeah, at least they defended the guy. Hey, if I'm going to pick a police officer to defend me, I'm going to pick the guy with the tattoos with the American flag sleeve on it, because I know he probably means business.
Yeah.
Okay.
That guy's not taking any shit.
Yeah. I'm not going to take the San Francisco sheriff that looks like,
or the DC Capitol police officer
who has never hit the gym and probably looks like, he has a heavy dose of soy in his diet,
So with that, I want to get to a little bit of candy before we exit this one. And the first piece of candy comes from Wisconsin Watch and writer Jess Miller, who I think has tested positive for stupidity. So her article is on thin ice. Falls through the ice on Wisconsin lakes are becoming more common. There's more than just warm weather to blame. Do you want to know what she's blaming for people falling through the ice? Can you guess?
The ice shanties. No, this is a very analytical take. The ice shanties, similar to standard full-size pickup trucks, have been continuously getting larger and larger. And before you know it, you get these ice shanties that are basically small homes on the ice, and you get a lot of them. And yeah, they're heavy. Are they like the heaviest thing in the world? Maybe they get out there and maybe it's a little bit late in the season, or we're like right now we're kind of going through a little bit of a warm spell, and it thaws out a little bit too much. Maybe you're on a part of the lake that gets a little bit more sun. Boom, fall through.
Or, as much as fun it would be for that to be the reason, it's just a boatload of shanties. Jess Miller here is blaming everyone's favorite climate change for the reason why people are falling through the ice.
Yep. Very. Now I'm pretty sure this has been recorded probably for hundreds of years to make for an ample sample size, because we all know that the climate does change and there are fluctuation in temperatures between heating and cooling periods.
Well, Jess will say that the future of frozen recreation in Dane County is in peril.
You're an idiot.
Madison winters are getting shorter and less predictable, and falls through the ice are becoming more common. Now, maybe it's people who aren't paying a lot of attention, who aren't checking out the conditions on the ice and deciding to walk in areas where it's a bit thin.
And this is quite literally, I guarantee you, this is a reporter that has a bias and just is in search of the story.
Yes.
Not like in search of a story like, what is a good story that I can write? It's like, okay, I really like climate change. Let's try to find something that fits into the climate change narrative. Ooh, let's find like 10 years worth of data on people that fall in the ice and use that.
Yeah, it's to say that in the past couple of years, the winters have not frozen the lakes over as long as they have been in a couple other years.
Did she say in the article, because I'm not going to read that horrible diseased piece of how many
but
years
only
back?
In the 4 of the last 25 years has Mendota been frozen that as long as 102
So she's
days.
only gone back 25 years?
Well, yes.
It's not exactly a huge sample size.
So she does go back to 1855, when the Climate Office began consistently tracking Lake Mendota's freezing and thawing, but says it was the average of 102 days. But during the 2023-24, it was frozen for 44 days. Last winter, it was frozen for 69 days. I mean, know what you're doing. Like this is you're right. This is someone who said, I want to write about climate change and I want to blame people's actions on it. Not that the ice is thin in some places. Not that maybe you shouldn't be walking. There's a lot of
factors.
Yeah.
Like, are they walking in certain parts of the lake? Are there more people that are on the lake? Are there more chances for people to fall in? In 1855, are we having hundreds of people out on the lake at any given time?
Yeah.
I mean, Madison's a fully populated city now. There's tons of people that probably go on the lake. So there's more chances. There's a ton of variables. And again, it still doesn't change the fact that, and of course, global warming? No, not global warming. Climate change, because the climate is always changing. It's more ambiguous.
Again, we talk about the left
redefining, reinventing.
Yep.
If they don't like one language, they'll just change the language to mean something else to better fit their narrative. You guys listen. You guys all know that, though.
Yep. So another bit of candy. River Falls won the Stag Bowl, Division III
based
championship, and their quarterback Caleb Blaha set the college football passing record, which is for all divisions. So he surpassed Joe Burrow as the most prolific quarterback in college football,
and he's up for like the Manning Award.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
Maybe
as a Division III player,
a guy like that probably deserves at least a look from
maybe
from the NFL.
Maybe he'll be like. I mean, I don't know the prospects of. Don't ask me like a draft prospect. Maybe he'll be like a late rounder, but I mean, even if a unsigned free agent.
Yeah, you
thing.
give him a tryout for sure. I'm wishing the best for him. I hope that's the case. I hope he does that. This team, I mean, this River Falls team went from like a perennial bottom dweller, 0 wins, 1 win, 2 win, 3 wins to, a D3 championship. That's no small feat.
And I don't care who you're playing. You still have to march the ball down the field. People still have to catch it. Yep. So like, you could say the competition isn't quite as good as D1, but still.
The competition's as good for each team. Like they're playing each other, that's why they're at that level.
It's somewhat relative.
Yeah.
Somewhat relative.
And lastly, I saw this article posted from friend John Schulze. Want to give him a shout out. And it's funny, but it's a little weird. I'm going to have to choose my words carefully here. But this one comes from WKOW. Naked man sought in Madison battery case on Zaire Road. So
just another Tuesday in Madison.
Just another Christmas Eve. Madison police are searching for a suspect in a battery incident that took place on December 24th, 2025. The incident occurred in the 2200 block of Zaire Road, approximately 5:35 a.m. According to Madison police, a man, his wife, and child were asleep in their vehicle when they awoke to a stranger attempting to enter. The stranger was naked and
there's a couple words to describe.
Fondling, self-pleasuring.
Yeah, that's probably best.
He then attacked and strangled the man. So I just like, what do you wake up to?
Someone had some serious drugs.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, it was not warm that day. I mean, you're cold. You're able to do that.
I don't know.
And try to break into a vehicle nude outside.
It's best to just not try to understand it. It's best just to read it, acknowledge it, know that Madison should probably be removed as a city and have all responsibility because they can't govern themselves.
So the suspect was naked. Excuse me. So the couple managed to return to their vehicle and drive away. The victim received hospital treatments for his injury. So the driver was attacked. Later that day, nearby resident reported a naked man stealing a blanket from their vehicle. Security video shared with police matched the suspect.
He needed clothes.
Yeah. That fella, though, got a lot of hair on his head.
Well,
the rest of him probably very cold.
What would the libs say? Oh, he's stealing because he just needs a loaf of bread. He's just stealing because he needs something to wear.
Well, yes. So again, the way the libs manipulate language, he's not homeless. He's unhoused.
An unhoused person.
An unclothed person.
I mean, come on.
Who's just happens to desire to sexually gratify himself in public. Haven't we all done that at one point or another?
It's stories like that you wonder how Madison is a real place.
For our friends that listen, maybe they're commuting into work in Madison or work in Madison and walking home. Be on the lookout for a naked man. And this isn't the How I Met Your Mother kind of naked man.
This is not the naked bike ride either.
This is a violent, self-pleasuring naked man.
Yeah, gosh, I hate that.
And with that,
I hate that we said that.
And with that, folks, we hope you have a great Monday. Have a great week. We look forward to talking to you again very soon. Again, if you are on YouTube, make sure to like and share there. If you're on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, make sure to drop us that 5-star review. Have a good one.